rewindsports60.com.
The Rewind
Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to the Rewind Sports 60. We are live at WCPT Studios, 8:20 a.m. on just a weekend in a week that nobody could have possibly imagined in the midst of COVID-19. Also, just the ridiculousness that's going on all across the country in response to, as we all know, the tragic events that happened this week. And so as we really start today off, I definitely want to get everyone's reactions on what's going on specifically in the city, our own hometown of Chicago. I know a lot of people heard the different, the mayor, the governor, a lot of different reaction all across the country, and people are quite frankly outraged. So we want to just get right into it. I'll go to you first, our co-host Jerry Riles. Jerry, when you saw the events that took place and the reaction to our community and to the country, quite frankly, what were your thoughts?
Wow. I don't even know where to begin. But watching everything unfold, and first of all, Lauren, it's great to see you. And I'm happy to see you. I'm glad that you and your loved ones are safe. And I'm glad that you were able to make it here in the studios of WCPT 8:20 a.m., as well as everyone a part of the team as well. I'm glad that we're all here safe and sound. But my reaction was disappointment, frustration, anger, and quite frankly, sadness. Mm-hmm. I was really, really pulling for, because I love this city. We all love this city. I love Chicago, and I was praying and hoping that we had, more sense, more control. I understand, everything that was taking place and why it happened. And I was watching everything unfold in Minneapolis, and I was praying that it did not happen here in our town.
So you thought it wouldn't have happened? Because that's kind of like, I was a bit surprised by the mayor's reaction. I mean, Chicago, let's just be honest, quite frankly, it is a very violent city.
Yes, it is.
So when all of that stuff was kicking off all across the country, mm-hmm. I mean, it's no way in the world that I would have ever thought that it would not be going on in Chicago. I'm like, it's only a matter of time before they kick it off in Chicago. You got LA, New York, of course, we know Atlanta, Louisville, all across the country, everywhere.
Right.
I don't know. Q, we want to go to you, Quentin Demps, 10-year NFL veteran, former Chicago Bear.
Yep.
What were your thoughts when you saw everything that happened, and then specifically Chicago?
Yeah, it's just like at a loss for words, like, it's just like, man, it felt like it's a movie going on, like, for real. Like, it's just, like even COVID ain't even brought up anymore because of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, definitely frustrating though, it's unfortunate, but like, it's the life we live in,
Yeah.
I think Kanye West said it, racism still alive, we just considering it, so.
Absolutely.
But yeah, for sure devastated.
Danny and Dan Carlino, and Dan, the marvelous one, what were your thoughts with all the things that are going on?
Obviously, what happened on Monday in Minneapolis, everybody agrees that that's horrible, the video horrible, the policeman's actions horrible. So that's criminal. But the criminal activity in Chicago and elsewhere is horrible as well. Wouldn't you all agree? I mean, the looting, the burning, throwing feces and urine at the cops. I mean, That's criminal activity and should not be tolerated either. Of course, I love protest. I've protested myself peacefully. But this is unacceptable, as everybody would agree, I'm sure, on this panel.
Right. I've been a part of protests myself, and they were all within in right and within in reason. There was no violence or anything of that nature, the one that I was involved in. But Lauren, to your question to me, why was I surprised? Because we had witnessed what had taken place in Minneapolis. And that's, of course, where it all escalated from, the George Floyd tragic, situation that occurred with the 4 police officers. But I was hoping, because we were able to see firsthand what was going on there in Minneapolis, I thought for sure that I knew that there was going to be some type of reaction. I knew that there were going to be protesters out there, and I knew that there was going to be, some fires. I figured they would go after the police cars, and which they did, but I was totally caught off guard, shocked, and surprised at the mayhem that unfolded, the chaos that unfolded with all the looting and the vandalism that was taking place, all the stores that were broken into, and I was totally amazed by that, and I'm really disappointed in it, because it not only happened in the downtown Chicago area, the business center, business market, business place, what we call here in Chicago downtown, but it's happening all over the Chicagoland area. I woke up this morning and I understood that in the neighborhood I grew up in Beverly, from 87th Street to 95th Street in Western, they were looting all up and down there. My buddy called me and he told me his wife was out in Lansing. They were looting all out there.
Right.
I had a call from my other buddy that said they're in Tinley Park looting. They're in Niles looting.
But what my girlfriend told me was that in the city, like 87th and Dan Ryan, that area, they were pretty much letting them loot, letting them riot. It was like a few police cars. However, in like Evergreen Park and Greenwood, there were cops out there with riot gear on, showing the police presence, protecting their neighborhoods, but just letting lawlessness happen in the city with no regard. I have a problem with that as well. It's like all areas need to be protected. They should be stopping that in every neighborhood.
Well, you know what?
Protected by who, though?
Yeah, that's the question,
The
Lauren.
police.
And now the police
had on riot gear in Greenwood.
Well, but the police, believe me, it's only, they're calling the National Guard.
Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot said, "Hey, listen, Pritzker, I need help."
She does. Yeah.
We can't do it. And let me say this.
You don't want that, but I mean, what else can she do?
I gotta say this. This is one reason why I'm really disappointed, because at the end of the day, we're tearing up our own place, and I guarantee you, the people out there who are looting, I guarantee you, they wouldn't go in their house. They wouldn't tolerate somebody coming to their house and tearing it up and ransacking it because that person was upset with something that they did to them. I guarantee you, they would not tear up their place or where they live. But they feel compelled enough to go out and destroy someone else's property, someone else's business, because they're upset. We're all upset.
Well, they're above and beyond upset. I mean,
It's criminal.
Lauren, listen.
Upset is one thing. We're another level past upset.
Yeah.
The lack of respect for African Americans' bodies
I understand
as human
that.
beings
But
is
it doesn't.
too much.
You
It's
cannot
too much to
condone
take.
violence. Listen, I'm living proof. I had to tell my daughters, which it sucks. But in 2020, I should not have to tell my daughters that as a grown black man living in what is called the greatest country in the world, that every day that I wake up and I walk outside my door, I gotta think, what am I going to encounter today? What type of racism am I going to encounter today? Whether it's directly, blatant, or subtle. Every day of my life as a black man living in this country, I have to think about that. And Q, I'm sure you have to think about it as well. But you have to think about that every day of your life. And you live with that. But it does not, I'm as upset and angry as anybody else. But I'm not going out destroying anybody's property because I'm upset about it. I'm simply, and I'm not going to let my family or my friends go out and do it.
Hey, Jerry, there's a theory that there's some outside agitators involved with this. Do you buy that?
Oh, there's no question about it. There's no question about it. Because there are true protesters out there.
Yeah.
There are people out there who are protesting, saying, "Hey, this is wrong." And Lauren, you're absolutely right. It's gotten to a point where enough is enough. Enough is enough. But of course, there have been some people who have been opportunistic, taking advantage of the opportunity, and causing mayhem, wreaking havoc, destroying property.
Yeah.
And those people should be. They should have the book thrown at them.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's
totally disagree.
a bigger outbreak of COVID because of this too. And I think COVID's a factor in this too, with the 100,000 deaths and the 40 million out of work. I mean, and it's affecting the poor and the disadvantaged more.
Oh, I don't even want to discuss those numbers. It's going to happen. But you say you disagree.
Yeah, because
why?
it's like there's no playbook to looting, to protesting. Like, these are the things that come with it. Like, you know what I mean? We fighting for justice. No justice, no peace.
Right.
So it's okay to set fire to police cars?
It ain't the first time this happened.
No.
I read a book that says there's nothing new under the sun. We're just watching everything unfold again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't stop it, bro.
No, you can't stop
You
it.
can't ask them to be nice either. It's like we got to go hard or go home.
No, I fully agree.
We going hard, we're not gonna be out here. I don't agree with people like killing people who's like protecting their business. That's toxic.
Right.
That's terrible. But at the
Right.
same time, like, this is America. We can rebuild everything. You know, like
That's true.
we're trying to get a point across. Like, we're tired of the races. It was just sickening to watch that, bro. Like, put the knee. It was just sickening, bro.
Yeah,
that was bad.
Now here's the question, and Lauren, Marvelous Q, we're going to be joined by Craig Hodges. He's a friend of the program. He's been on before, and we've talked with him about this exact situation that has unfolded. Craig Hodges tried to get the message across back in the 90s when he went to the White House, for the Bulls celebration after winning a championship, Wars Dashiki, and he was trying to get the point across that there's injustices taking place all throughout the country in urban communities, and he has been out front and center regarding his stance. He's going to join us on the program to talk more about that. We're also going to be joined by the next generation of young African American males and females from Monster Education Foundation, who will be joining us on the program to give their perspective on what they have witnessed and experienced here in the city of Chicago and throughout the country, because they are our future leaders, and we need to hear from them. And hopefully Craig will get an opportunity to talk with them so that we can maybe steer them in the right direction to say that this isn't necessarily, hopefully by the time they become adults, that they're not going through this type of behavior and treatment that many of us have experienced as well. So we want you to be tuned in and locked in to the Rewind Sports 60. These protests, I have nothing against protests because I protested. But again, I simply can't understand because there are a lot of people who are out of. This is one man had a business for 32 years. 32 years. A shoe in Los Angeles. A shoe
It's a
store.
CTA stuff. It's a CTA stuff.
That's an alert.
Yeah, alerting us that the CTA is
This guy had his business for 32 years in Los Angeles. He was on CNN. He said it would have been better for him just to take his shoes and give them away for free. But because of the vandalism and the looting and the destruction that took place, he said he can't rebuild his business. And this guy's been in business for 32 years, but because of all of that, it's done. And that's my problem, because you have some hardworking white people, black people, Spanish people, Asian people who work hard. When you own a business, you don't have time for shenanigans and time for trying to discriminate and exploit people to a certain degree, because you're trying to run your business.
Right.
You're trying to run your business.
Yeah.
And in a second, it's almost like striking a match to it, and it's going up in flame. You're done.
Yeah.
And that's to me, that's not right. And I want people to give Lori Lightfoot a chance. This woman, regardless of everybody in the city of Chicago who voted for Lori Lightfoot because they wanted change. And now when she's trying to make change and make an impact in this city to try to make it better for everyone, people quickly turn against her. And I'm not just saying that because she was on our program. Because I didn't support Lori Lightfoot in a lot of things, that her approach to how she was handling certain things. But I understand if you want to change in this city, and the entire city voted for this woman, when you say we're all in this together, you got to show it. You got to step up and show up. And I don't think we did that here in the city of Chicago this weekend.
You know, I was looking at one thing yesterday that made me wish I was on that aircraft leaving out of Florida, so I could be away from this disgusting earth of hate and disease. those guys are lucky.
Jeez.
Lauren?
You know, I don't think it has anything to do with Lori Lightfoot. This stuff is, way past and beyond her. And, I mean, I think people think she's doing a good job, and you could tell it's like the mayors, and even it's an African-American mayor for Atlanta too. Mm-hmm. She was speaking as well. And of course, they feel some type of way. It's their city and all that, but it's like, this stuff has been going on for years, way before they ever even got into the office, in terms of Chicago and the things that they've done to intentionally keep Black people demarginalized and, in the projects, being incentivized for them being on welfare and things like that. Intentionally, they have done this for years, specifically in Chicago, so we wouldn't be able to compete for the jobs and the opportunity that's in Chicago. And this is all just a symptom of that. This is a bigger symptom of a far greater problem above and beyond, Lori Lightfoot, these mayors, and anybody else. It's just a mental change that white people have to understand that they're going to have to come from in terms of Black life.
Yeah, white
us
people
too. Black people too.
Now there you go. That's it. Before this weekend happened with all the rioting and everything, what were we talking about when Lori Lightfoot was on our show 3 weeks ago or whatever? We were talking about the partying that was going on the west side
and the lakefront.
And
lakefront, yeah.
Because these people didn't believe in the pandemic. And she was trying to control that. And there's video out there that say they told her, hey, why don't you go home? She's trying to protect these people and the community. And we know the numbers are escalating in the Black and brown communities. And she's trying to control that. And they yell at her and tell her to go home. And they go out and have parties. So for us as Black people, and Q, you know this, Lauren, you know this, education is, I don't care what you say, education is the key.
That's the number one thing.
That's going to, listen, I didn't grow up in the Robert Taylor homes. I lived in the Robert Taylor homes. And my old man, may he rest in peace, worked for Chicago Transit Authority. He said, we're getting out of here. My old man. He said, we're getting out of here. And he bought us a house in Beverly. This is in 1972. Because he knew of the racism that was going on. He knew his worth as a man, and he knew there was a better opportunity for him and his family, and he took advantage of it and worked his ass off to do that. And so I say that to say, listen, you can't always point fingers at the white man, because the white man is going to be there, and the white man is doing what the white man is doing. Believe me, I'm a product of racism as well in this industry, in this market. But you have to put yourself in a position that you will be able to overcome it and fight it and bring on the supporters that you have to make sure that you can end this thing. And I get it, Lauren. I swear to you, I get it. These young folks are pissed off and they're sick and tired and they don't want it anymore. They don't want it anymore. And now this is what we have to deal with. Our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. It is the Rewind Sports 60. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with Lauren Cox, Comcast CN 100, the marvelous one, Dan Marver, and, of course, 17th letter of the alphabet, Q, Quentin Demps, in our studios. And if you want to join us, feel free to give us a call. We're here for you. We'd love to get your reaction. We're putting the sports conversation aside, because this is a bigger issue. It's so big that if Michael Jordan has to come out and make a statement and show his frustration with what's going on.
Come out and say something?
Yeah, the greatest of all time came out and made a statement to say, hey, this is just ridiculous as well. And he's sick of it and he's fed up. But you're right, Lauren. The systemic racism that has impacted this country, enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Right.
But you can't just go around destroying, and I was about to cuss. You can't go around destroying stuff because you pissed off. And I know you're trying to get the ear.
But it's hard for me to have sympathy for people for business, like people who own businesses, because my sympathy goes to the dude who, bro, to George, man.
What?
Think about George being your son.
Yeah.
You won't feel his frustration unless you in that circle, man, in that bubble. If George is my son or my brother, my uncle, I don't give a damn about nobody business being messed up.
I get you.
I don't care about your business being messed up. Suck it up. This is America. It happens. They protest. What you mean to do? How you going to control 20,000 people doing what they want to do?
No,
I can't control it.
Yeah.
Put the cops in jail. Make justice happen. It probably wouldn't happen.
That's the point. Bingo. You hit it right there.
Yeah, you can't.
If they arrested those 4 police officers and hit them with first-degree charges instead of 1 with a third-degree charge, we're probably not even in this situation. Let's go out to the phone lines and welcome a friend of the program. He's Craig Hodges, former Chicago Bulls three-point shooting specialist on our TR60 hotline. Craig, welcome, brother. We appreciate you taking some time out of this incredible day and incredible weekend here in the city of Chicago and also the great country of the United States of America. Thank you for taking some time out to join us.
First of all, I want to thank Almighty God for giving us a chance to even come across their way during this madness and chaos, and just I pray that everybody can remain centered and be balanced and calm within your own conscience in order to get what you can on a positive level and make sure that the energies that you output carry with it the spirit of the ancestors and not the anger of what we endured, but more so what we're capable of doing through our collective ancestral struggle, man, more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, they're very well said, Craig, and we really appreciate it. And that's the point I think we're trying to get across, and I want you to convey it a little bit more, is that you and I are around the same age, and we've had our share of racism, and we've had our share of protests, and of course you're on a bigger platform and a higher stage. But as black men growing up in this country, we've experienced it, and I share with people, every day. Every day we go through this. But I can speak for myself. I don't know about you. Even with the anger that I've had over the years due to racism and just the struggle, instead of going out and being violent about it, I was able to channel that energy, redirect it, and use it in a positive. What message do you convey to those out there who feel the anger and are tired and frustrated and had enough?
One of the things that, I say I'm 59 years old, and I feel like our generation didn't carry the mantle to the degree that we should have in as far as getting our young people to understand what the ancestors did during the movement, prior to the movement, during our middle passage, how we got to this point, to realize that it's more incumbent on you to use your life energy to change the mindset of your own community first, and then that will emanate outward. And I feel like right now we are in the midst of a divine inheritance that's coming to our people for our ancestral struggles. But until we show the unity through maturity, through mature actions and mature strategies, only then will we receive that inheritance. So a lot of what I see is a lot of chaos going on where there are people and influences from outside of the peaceful side of things that are riling it up to the point where the violence from police beyond what it already has is giving them the opportunity to do it again. So I tell my people, think strategically at this point in time, because we have something that's very, very powerful that's coming to our people, man, and we just have to be prepared for it and understand what we're going through at this day and time and know that it's for a reason. And the reason is that the next generation is a generation of fulfillment, and everybody on the planet understands it. And I want us to know that the female influence right now is so powerful, and that it's a return of the black woman to where she's supposed to be, and that's what the planet is really going against. And we have to be the brothers who stand up and let the planet know who our woman is, who she was in the past, and who she continues to be. And from that point, we as brothers can get our young men to realize that our job is to carry forth the message and secure. And it's in order for our sister to organize us in that mindset. Because if you look back at when we grew up, Brother Riles, man, in the 60s, everybody felt the heat coming from the same place. So it's a difference now when we have different people come getting that heat from different places. Some are getting it from the job place. Some are getting it, feeling the vibration that I don't have a job anymore and I'm not going to be able to go back and do what I did. But now we as a collective people have to realize that, yes, it's bigger than black. But however, those who are outside of black have to realize the whole fundamental process of this whole thing of capitalism, white supremacy, racism is founded on the brunt and the back of black folk. And the foundation of this country is laid upon that, and no one wants to answer that question, and they never have, and now we see it transferred to what it is today.
You know what? Very well said, Craig, and someone's going to listen. Lauren, these young folks, like Craig said, I mean, we're a little bit long in the tooth, and we've experienced a lot of it, especially when you go back to the riots, the 60s, and Mayor Daley, the original Mayor Daley, when he didn't want Dr. King coming to Chicago. Dr. King came and spoke, and there was rioting and looting going on the west side, on Madison Street, all the west side of Chicago. And Mayor Daley, the original Mayor Daley, said, I will not put another penny in that side of the town. And he lived up to that. And we saw the destruction on the west side of the city of Chicago because of that uproar. So I understand. Again, and like Craig said, we understand the frustration, but it's bigger than what we're actually going through. Lauren, you being a female woman, I told my daughters the same thing last night. I said, you two are the most powerful creatures on the planet. I think women are the most powerful, and I've always said it. In particular, black women are the most powerful creatures on the planet. And until that is recognized and identified, we probably still going to have a lot of dissension in this world.
Yeah,
Lauren?
Absolutely. I mean, I agree. This, like I said, it's more of a symptom of what happened, and people are just at their breaking point, essentially. And I wanted to ask you, Craig, I was talking to my dad about this yesterday, and we were talking about, the aftermath, what next in terms of building up the community. And he was speaking about how athletes and, rappers, like it would be great if they could come in and invest in the communities and rebuild the communities as part of the plan moving forward. What are your thoughts on that?
Once again, that's, and I think that's part and parcel of it. At one point in time, I thought that athletes and entertainers was enough to take care of what we needed as African people worldwide. I still feel like we have a part to play, but I feel like our part to play is to be the visible logo for whatever organizational message we come up with as a unity and as a family. And I think, right now we're at that point in time where our athletes and entertainers can play a critical role in, first of all, getting us to get centered, make sure that anger is now channeled to rebuilding and reconstructing our history in such a way that we carry it into a generation where they understand why they're proud, they understand why they're courageous, they understand what went on before. And I think our athletes and entertainers have the platform to be able to give that visible message. And, when I see young brothers like LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, Chris Paul, and all the like, I think now is the time for me. And just looking at this, I say to anybody that plays in Minnesota, being an NBA player, when Rodney King went down, I tried to get Magic and Michael to boycott the NBA Finals during that season. I tell brothers right now, there's no way you have to go hoop during this season. There's no way if I played in Atlanta or Minnesota could I play this season. And it's not a matter of me saying that I want you to leave your job, but I'm saying it's a matter of life and death, brothers and sisters, whoever are in that realm of influence, that how much is enough, and at which point in time am I in a position to sacrifice more than a bus driver? Where I know if I'm a top tier professional athlete, I have the opportunity to get another contract. Likewise, I should have enough investment and investment power. And that's what I say. We as a collective, athletes and entertainers, we have that collective power that you speak of, sister, that can change, can move mountains, literally. That, when we look at the impact of a Muhammad Ali on civilization, we know what one athlete can do, then what would happen if it's a collective?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there are people Craig, there's dissension among the leagues when you talk about collective bargaining agreements where some players say, hey, I want to get paid today. I don't care about the cat coming behind me, but there are other players that say, hey, you know what? We got to take care of those following behind us. So there's a whole issue there as far as the collective bargaining agreement and other leagues are concerned. Craig, real quick, we want to take a couple calls, and we do definitely appreciate you coming on. And we're going to invite some...
And once again, brother, I appreciate the platform that you're giving people, man. It's critical.
Well, it is very critical, and I love this city to death, and I will do anything in my power to try to continue to make it the greatest city in the world. I don't just say that just to say it. I believe in Chicago, I love Chicago, and I will fight for Chicago, and I'll fight for everybody's right to do what they feel is best in their need and their character and their family, but you have to do it in a responsible way. You have to do it. You cannot destroy what belongs to you. You can't do it. And I'm going to continue to say that, and I'm going to push it as long as I can. Let's go out to the phone lines. Pam has patiently been waiting on our hotline. Pam, how are you? Welcome to the Rewind Sports 60.
Hi. Held a long time, heard a lot. But let me just say to Mr. Hodges, you are a wonderful man. I had the opportunity to meet you at Asselware Bookstore, and I know you may not remember, but you talked about a little bit of what you covered now, but you also were so gracious with the people who were there, and I will never forget that. And also, you took a beautiful picture with me. And
I appreciate you, sir.
I appreciate you. Thank you. I guess let me start. I'm going to talk about the murder of George Floyd. And so I don't know how many murders we're supposed to absorb. Here in Chicago, are you all familiar with Howard Morgan?
Yeah.
It's not, he was shot 28 times by police officers, right?
Yep.
So then Wallace Davis, prior to Howard Morgan, former alderman, he was, shot dead. They tagged his toe, took him to the morgue, and thank God somebody saw him in the bag and saw his toe move or saw him move and opened up the bag, and he was still alive. That was done by the police department. And so I'm saying we know the history of Chicago. Do I love Chicago? No. Is Chicago a great city to me? No. Is this country a great country? No. And the only reason is you can't be great with the history you have, for me, with black people, poor people, and working class people. Until you straighten that out, no, you're not a great country. It's a country that offers some amenities. You can work, get an education. Some can ascend to wealth. Others, not so much if you don't play the game. I mean, let's be real. So, no, not everyone loves Chicago.
Well, you know what? Let me say this, Pam, and I appreciate you. Hey, listen, I love Chicago, and everyone doesn't have to love Chicago.
I'm not putting you down for that. I'm just saying.
But listen to me.
Jared, can I speak to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, as sister, I appreciate what you're coming from, because that is the critical part that white privilege isn't allowed to feel. They're not allowed to feel your point of view. See, we can be Jared. This can be a great city, but we cannot negate the bloodshed of the Native Americans in Chicago. We cannot negate in this nation that the amount of blood that has been shed under the flag. We can't negate that. So I agree with Sister Hood where, hey, we got a whole lot of work to do to get it to that level of greatness. And greatness to me is not fostered in morality and principles, more so than the beauty and the aesthetics of the city and the park systems and all of that. Yeah, it's off the chain like that. But the root of capitalism and the root of what Chicago has meant to capitalism worldwide has got to be challenged. And the way the sister puts it, she puts it, and see, it's hardcore the way she put it, and it's hard for a lot of people to accept. And sister, I appreciate your courage.
Hey, Tam.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
And let me ask one question. This is for everyone because this is critical.
Yeah.
We saw George Floyd murdered, and we saw how he was murdered. Officers knee on his neck.
Right.
Then we saw the witnesses, I think were 2 or 3,
Right.
who begged and pleaded.
Right.
Now, what would you all have done? Because I know your instinct tells you to stand there.
Right.
But as a black woman looking at that black man, something says to me that I would have tried to give my life
to go over there.
Yeah.
Go over there and stop it.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking, and I'm not a big, bold, brave kind of person, but I stand up and I'm willing to die for a cause because that's what Dr. King asked of us. And if he can do it, then we damn sure can find a cause worth dying for. So I'm just asking, what do you think you would have done in that moment?
That's a great question.
And I just ask you all that because I know those people have to be traumatized, just as all of us are.
Pam, thank you so very much. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. We appreciate it. Real quick, what would you do, Lauren?
I mean, I would have done the same thing in terms of you. How can you not be compelled to engage those officers? I mean, even the partners, the other officers were there, but even the bystanders. For a black man, I mean, of course, it's dangerous to do it. But for me, for sure, as a black woman being there, is no way I could have just sat there and just pleaded with that cop while he was doing what he was doing.
Marvelous.
I was listening to the audio, and there's been some other the audios of that incident, and I heard voices of people telling the cops to stop, but he stopped breathing. I heard the voice. So there's a lot of things about this that are very disturbing.
What would you have done, though?
Yeah, what would I have done? Well, I just what I'm saying. I said, hey, come on, guys, lay off.
They talked.
They did that. That was
they spoke up, but would you have taken further action?
Physical action? It's tough when they have a weapon and you don't.
Q.
I definitely wouldn't have recorded. I've been trying to help out, and then when I saw his face at some point get to where it's finna, so I'm throwing hands. It's finna go down,
Yeah.
Yeah, when you see his face, like, damn, it's the last little, I gotta go. I gotta risk it all then because it's unfair.
Craig, what would you have done?
At that point, you got to intervene.
Yeah, at some point. At the beginning, I probably would have been like chill, but.
It's not even a matter of at least.
I couldn't sit there and just let that.
At least approach the situation so that maybe he would have to put off his neck for a second or something. It's something that we could do, and that's the part where, once again, Mao Zedong said the power stems from the barrel of the gun. My black studies professor taught me that, hey, the only reason you stop in the middle of the night at a stoplight and ain't nobody coming is because of the power of the gun. And that power is a mental approach more than the physical one now. We see it that the power to maim and kill has been so strongly enveloped in the fabric of America that you dare not even think about, hey, man, I better not approach that because that could be me down there.
Bingo.
And that's the opinion. I'd rather it be them than me.
Yep.
And that's the part where I stand where, hey, until we start to say who they and them are and identify who's who and be on the side of righteousness. It's righteous if you walk up there and say, yo, man, get your foot off that brother's neck. You know you wrong, man. You got a gun. You handcuffed. Come on, man, get up. And maybe everybody else would chime in and come over, and then they would stop. But we got to, it's proactive, but it's not reactionary.
Yeah, well, you know what? I would have intervened when I saw him urinating on himself. When I saw that streak of urine come down from underneath the squad car there, that's when I would have intervened and say, hey, wait a minute, this is because the Asian cop was just standing there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He never engaged. He just stood there and watched these guys do what they do. Hey, Craig, we're going to invite on our TR60 hotline, we have 2 scholars from Monster Education Foundation joining us, one a 7th grader and one a 9th grader. And the reason I invited them on is because I wanted to hear their perspective from everything that unfolded here in the Chicagoland area over the weekend, because they are the future of not only their respective neighborhoods, but also the city of Chicago and hopefully potentially the world. And I want you to engage with them and let's have some dialogue, because there's a lot that you can share and a lot that we can share with these young people, but it's also a lot that they possibly can share with us as far as their perspective and how we're behaving as adults. And we're pleased to be welcomed on our TR60 hotline, Micah Wilson. He attends Robert A. Black Middle School in Morgan Park. He is in the 7th grade. He is a scholar of the Monster Education Foundation here in the Chicagoland area. Micah, how are you? Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much. And also, and Shalom, you got forgive me if I kind of butcher your name, but Shalom Ajini is on our TR60 hotline as well. She attends Latin school in Roseland. She's in the 9th grade, and she's also a member of a scholar of Monster Education Foundation, joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. Thank you so very much, Shalom and Micah, for being a part of our program. Shalom, how you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for inviting me.
Good. And I have to say thank you to the president and founder of Monster Education Foundation, Jenny Chang, for lining us up and making this happen. I am a board member of the greatest education foundation here in the city of Chicago, Monster Education. And we invite you two young people on, first of all, to get your reaction, your feelings on what you witnessed. Have you been witnessing and watching television of everything that's happened here in the Chicagoland area regarding the past couple of days?
Yeah.
Micah?
Yes, I have.
And what have you concluded from what you've been able to see?
Man, to be honest, I've just been seeing this for such a long time, But when I saw this, it's like something like flickered in my brain. It's like anger inside of me was mad because, like, the first ever big case on a black on blue crime was Laquan McDonald. That was the first case I ever knew about that. But then when I saw this one where he was begging him to let him go, I'm just enraged, to be honest. And I'm mad and I'm scared because I'm a young African American and the same thing could happen to me.
Shalom, what was your thoughts and your reaction when you saw the footage and everything that unfolded?
I was disturbed. I have brothers. I have a father. I have a family. I have friends. And I was really concerned about their safety, also about myself. But what shocked me most was just like the fact that the reason this happened was because of anger and because everybody's pent up. And with their anger, it came out and it became like physical, and their actions became physical. And I was like completely shocked by it. Well, not completely shocked, but it was just more than I thought it would be. And all I can do is just pray. But I wasn't really happy about it. Even now, like, I'm shaking because it's like it's near me. So all I can say is that I wish this wasn't really happening.
Thank you guys for being on, and I definitely feel your outrage. And I just wanted to know, what are some of the changes that you all would like to see? Being young, understanding to some degree what's going on, and the rage that you guys feel. What are some changes that you all would like to see come out of this devastating, unfortunate events?
Micah, you first.
Well, I wish that we could all come together, as Black, white, Hispanics, and everybody, to be honest. I wish that we could all come together and we could just, all this rage is coming out, and I just wish that we could be peaceful and we could all talk about it,
Shalom.
I just wish that we could build more.
Shalom.
I also agree. I really do wish that we could come together. Right now, I feel like everyone is. It's not disconnection, but it's more of the way they're taking action to, like, show their anger. I feel like it's kind of breaking us apart. It's destroying properties. It's destroying families. It's destroying family income. And also, I really wish that, like, at the end of this, all of this turmoil, I wish that what's called, they'd be like understanding. I wish there'd be love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, like, and just self-control. I really wish, like, there could be, like, a responsible response instead of, like, the flames that are being used to, like, burn down properties.
Peace.
Craig, your reaction to what you heard.
And see, and that's why I say that so oftentimes we tell children not to speak, you know, and the biggest part is that this generation has so much to offer. And as far as leadership, you know, the vacuum of leadership is such that it's the baby. We can hear it in the voices that they got the answers. We the ones sitting there, hey, they have the answers.
Right.
What they don't have is a support base to be able to platform those messages. And that's where we who are athletes and entertainers, we can give Shalom Michael the opportunity to exercise and learn leadership in a real live manner. So we're hearing it in their voices. We're hearing a cry for support. We're hearing a cry for peace. We're hearing a cry for love. We're hearing a cry for justice. We're hearing a cry for all those principal things that the universal Lord has given us. And now we're hearing it in our babies crying for it. And we who are in a position to do something about it haven't done anything about it because it's wealth and greed that is more important than people. So I love my brother Michael Jordan. But at the same time, the imagery that is created through white capitalism has been able to not foster this generation of leadership that we need. So we have to build that leadership capability for them to be able to feel comfortable, to be able to feel like, as a young brother, I know I'm going to be alive tomorrow because I have a support base around me that's going to support me to be able to be a free thinker. That's what we had, Jerry. We had that during the 60s, man. We had organization. We had programmatic stuff where even though the movement was going on, even though we were marching, we were doing things within the community that kept us in our athletics, kept us in our student athletic mode and mindset. So, young sister and brother, it's going to be better because y'all are already making it better. Let me just tell y'all that going forward.
Thank you so very much. Q, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the children that wasn't afraid to speak out, and keep using your voice as a tool to be a leader and stand on the front line as you did right now, just speaking out in front of people.
Marvelous.
Well, it was great to the youngsters. I was thinking of the lyrics of Imagine from John Lennon when they were speaking. Peace and harmony. Would be a great thing, but. I hate to say it's too much to hope for, but this is a repeating cycle. It's that doesn't seem to have an end, and it's very sad.
No, it is very sad. We're on with the former Chicago Bulls. Go ahead, Craig. Craig Hodges is on our TR60 hotline.
One of the things is that the cycle has been broken. I'm telling y'all that now. What we're seeing is the remnants of the old, because 1619, we were prophesied for 400 years. That was over in 2019. So what we're seeing is the old nerve endings of white supremacy racism. We haven't uncoupled from it yet. But the uncoupling from it is coming from the spiritual realm. So this is not going to be able to be seen on this physical base just yet. But on the spiritual realm, it's already happening. When I see white citizens stand in front of black citizens who are getting ready to be accosted by people in blue uniforms who are supposed to be protecting them, I know something different is happening. So young brother and sister, don't fret. Just think the best and think the most of your capabilities and what you're capable of and what your passions are. And the sky's the limit for you, and don't put no cap on it.
There you go. Hey, Craig, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Michael Wilson and Shalom Ajini on our TR60 hotline, Monster Education Foundation. We're going to have to say goodbye, but before we let you go, any closing thoughts on what you've heard and how this is going to impact you as a Monster Education Foundation scholar, serving your neighborhood, serving your community, and serving the city? Micah, you first.
Well, I just want to make sure that everybody understands this situation and how this situation makes other African Americans mad. Because some people want to be blinded and they don't want to see the other side of the story. And that's when the rage and the riots come out. So overall, I just feel like you should understand each side of the story.
Thank you. Shalom?
We're not supposed to be disconnected. We're supposed to be connected as a community, and we shouldn't be destroying things. And I feel like it's okay to protest, but when protesting, there shouldn't be destruction with that protesting, because it's not only affecting the present, it's also affecting the future. And also, I don't think what's happening is only because of because of race. I think we need to know that there's things that are happening because it's right and it's wrong, and we need to know what is right and what is wrong. And we shouldn't, the perception of people shouldn't be based on the color of their skin. Like what Martin Luther King said, it should be on the content of their character. And also,
Absolutely.
We need to know that what our anger, it can't be driven out by anger. It can only be driven out by love.
God bless you.
Darkness cannot be driven out by darkness. It can only be driven out by light. So we just need to watch what we do, because it's not only affecting, like I said before, it's not only affecting the present, it's affecting the future, other generations. And like I said, protesting should be done. We protest because we want justice. And if we're using violence to show our want for justice, then it's somewhat questionable. And I just feel like we shouldn't be using violence to get our point across, even though it's been taking a long time for that point to be getting across to other people.
Thank you so
Well
much.
said.
Thank you so much. Craig, your closing thoughts.
Hey, wisdom from the baby, and that's the pearl of life, man. And I just thank the brother and sister, and be secure in their minds of what they're doing. And I can tell just from hearing in their voices that I want to congratulate their parents on doing a great job and supporting them thus far.
Thank you so very much. You guys are fantastic, and that's why they are Monster Education Foundation scholars, and that's why they are the future. Thank you so very much. God bless all three of you for taking some time out on this incredible day, incredible weekend here in the city of Chicago to join us and share your thoughts and perspective. Be safe, be well, and we'll definitely be talking with you and seeing you down the road, okay? Take care of you guys. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It's the Rewind Sports 60. Very well said. We got some callers on the line. We can probably just take one before we get out of here.
Call in every Sunday, please.
Yeah, Don has been patiently waiting on our line. Don, calling from Chicago. What's on your mind, real quick?
Hello.
Hey.
This is Don?
Yeah, Don. What's up, man?
Yes. You know what the problem has been paid by Mayor Pete when he was running for president. The problem is no governor or mayor can solve it. It's a problem that is legislated in the Congress that for the federal government to involve in the police. So it has to be changed with it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Don. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Let's
Don.
go to Jim in Oak Park. Jim, what's on your mind, real quick? Jimmy.
This is Jerry over here.
Who is this? Is this Jim or Jerry?
This is Jerry.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Yeah. I just quickly I wanted to say first of all, the question was asked earlier. If what would you have done had you been there when they were on his neck? And that's an unfair question because we should not be armchair quarterbacking what these kids did. They did the best they could. This 17-year-old girl did one hell of a thing by filming this and turning it in. This is what allowed everybody to see it. That's first of all. And number two, one of the things we don't want to do, we don't ever want to split each other ourselves, because this is what they want. This is what these people want to do. I'm trying to get it all in right quickly. I'm a boomer. I've been around here a long time. I am former president of the union, the CTA guy. And when I was a kid, I was in Mississippi. I registered people when I was 16 years old. The most powerful weapon that we have in this country, and we have to reiterate it to people, is the ballot box. Get these clowns out. We can cry and bitch and moan, but if we don't do something about it, it's going to continue to happen.
It's the Rewind Sports 60. Jerry, we got to run. Thanks to Lauren Lauren Cox, the Marvelous One, Dan Marver, Q, the 17th letter of the alphabet, Quentin Dempson, our guest, Craig Hodges, Michael Wilson, and Shalom Ajini joining us from Monster Education Foundation. Great job, Devin Tingle, our producer. If you miss any portion of this broadcast, check us out on Facebook, YouTube. It'll be broadcasting all throughout the week. Thank you so very much. Stay safe. Keep it locked in. The Rewind Sports 60 WCPT 820 AM.
The RewindSports60.com. The RewindSports60.com. The RewindSports60.com. Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. The RewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Still there. Oh.